All right, what's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. Ravens flock. What a game that was on Sunday Night Football. We had the Cincinnati Bengals come down to M&T Bank Stadium to take on the Baltimore Ravens in a crucial AFC North matchup. Winner takes first place in the AFC North. That game last night was insane. Oh my God. I'm so glad I was there to witness that. The atmosphere in M&T Bank Stadium was amazing. The house was rocking. We were bringing the energy, man. Everybody understood the importance of that game. And I cannot lie, that game right there, that win was my favorite win of the season. Like, by far, that was my favorite win because of the moment. The team finished. In the most crucial moment, we finished. It wasn't a perfect game. It wasn't. Certainly wasn't a perfect game for Lamar. Speaking of which, let's start with him. Lamar Jackson did not look like the MVP he's looked in the previous weeks. He did not play the way he's played in the previous weeks. In fact, this was the most inaccurate Lamar has looked all season. And it wasn't like he was playing terrible. He played a good game, but he was just overthrowing receivers. He had a touchdown to Duvernay down the field, overthrew him. And you guys like to say Lamar can't throw or he doesn't have an arm. I watched him throw that ball 60 yards. That was a 60-yard throw to Duvernay that he overthrew. Just missed him by a tick. And then on fourth down, we all remember this. He had a wide open Tylan Wallace and he missed him. Now, in that situation, that was both on Lamar and Wallace. That is an example of a quarterback and a receiver not being on the same page, a quarterback and receiver not having much chemistry. Because if you look at it, I was there. Lamar Jackson should have floated that ball. He should have lobbed it, which would have given perfect position for Wallace to catch it with ease and then just walk into the end zone. Instead, Lamar, there was two guys in front of him because pressure came, two guys in front of him, and he saw Wallace open and he just slung it. He slung it and he got it down there, but he just overthrew him by like 3 or 4 yards. And it was unfortunate turnover on downs there. As for Wallace in that situation, I saw him because he was on the area I was directly watching Wallace. I saw him run his route. It's just a go route. He's going, but then he starts slowing down and he's putting his hand up to get Lamar's attention. And then he's slowing down and putting his hands up, and then he starts going again. If he didn't slow down where Lamar threw it, Wallace would have been there to make the catch. Wouldn't have been easy, but that's where a quarterback and a receiver has to be on the same page. We know they don't really have a lot of chemistry because Lamar hasn't targeted Wallace that much. That's something they're still trying to get going. But, if Wallace would have just kept running, he would have been in that position. And if Lamar would have lobbed it, it wouldn't have been a difficult catch to make in that situation. We saw that happen earlier in the season when Lamar went down the field to Wallace. In that situation, the ball was accurate. The pass was accurate. It was right where it needed to be. Wallace just didn't make the catch. Went right through his hand. So, yeah, the throw to Duvernay in the end zone. The throw on fourth down to not in the end zone, but the throw on fourth down on the sideline to Wallace, he missed that. There was another throw where Duvernay got open again downfield. He had some separation, but there was pressure on Lamar, and because of the pressure, it ends up getting underthrown. That's another miss right there. So those were 3 misses that I saw from Lamar directly that he just has to make in those situations. And, we usually see Lamar make those plays in those situations, so I'm not worried. This was a night where Lamar Jackson was just off. He started off the game fine and was playing well and hitting his guys in stride and making great throws, but once he overthrew, which was another bad throw, that's probably the fourth bad throw we saw from Lamar. Once he overthrew Demarcus Robinson, which led to the interception, Lamar just started straight up overthrowing. The guy's got an arm, man. He's got a cannon. Because he was overthrowing all game. It wasn't until the fourth quarter where Lamar turned it on. So the first quarter, Lamar started off playing well. Then he got the pick. Then he got picked off. And from that point on, the second and third quarter, Lamar Jackson just struggled because he was just missing guys and overthrowing receivers. Which, again, is going to happen. It is what it is. You're going to have games like this. But once the fourth quarter game, once the fourth quarter came and the game was on the line, Lamar started dishing. He had a throw to Andrews, man. I don't even know how he got that to him. I watched that play and I'm like, that's the best throw Lamar's made all night. And that's probably the most difficult throw he's made all night. I have no clue how he saw that right there because he had to get it over one of the defenders, put it right in the hands of Andrews because there was a defender there covering him. I don't know how Lamar got that pass to Andrews, but that was the best throw he made all day. And I'm glad he made that in the fourth quarter. He made it during a crucial moment. So, yeah, he did what he needed to do. In the fourth quarter, Lamar Jackson was sensational. First quarter, he was playing well. Then he threw the pick. Second and third quarter, he was inaccurate as hell because he was just missing guys. He was overthrowing receivers down the field. Fourth quarter, he got it together during crunch time and was just sensational. Started doing what Lamar Jackson does. And we needed him in those moments, and he showed up and helped out and ultimately helped put us in position to win that game. So Lamar Jackson did not have an MVP type performance. He did not play fantastic. But honestly, if you look at both quarterbacks, Burrow didn't play well either. And we'll get to Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. But Joe Burrow didn't play well either. Lamar Jackson didn't play incredibly well. But both of them did well enough to help their teams win. This is just what you're going to get in a divisional game. That's what I always look at. Whenever it's a divisional matchup, you're just going to get moments like this because it's a divisional rival. It's the AFC North. Whenever you see that with any other quarterback in any other situation, when you're going up against a divisional foe, you're going to get situations like this where you're not playing your best game specifically because that rival's doing something that they're able to catch you with. I don't know what it is about divisional games, but you may get some of the best or some of the worst football. But I'll tell you this. It'll be competitive. It'll be ugly competitive or it'll be high-end, high-scoring competitive come down to the wire. It is what it is. You'll get a Monday Night Football game between the Browns and the Ravens in Cleveland where it's just a high-scoring game comes down to who gets the ball last. Or you'll get an ugly, disgusting game like the Sunday Night Football game we had last year against the Browns where we're just turning the ball over and they're turning the ball over and it's ugly and it's a defensive game. That's just AFC North football. That's what it comes down to. So, yeah, Lamar Jackson was inaccurate for much of that game, but in the fourth quarter, he was sensational. He showed up and did what he needed to do. That's what you get for when you got top guys like that. When you got top quarterbacks, those elite players, they're going to make those plays in those moments to help us win. And, of course, with the game on the line, Lamar needed to get us downfield, to get into field goal range, for Tucker to kick the field goal to win the game. Lamar Jackson does it, man. He just does it. And I'm watching him, too, and he was making some great throws to Andrews. When in doubt, throw to 89. That's just what Lamar does. They have that connection, and it's a beautiful thing to see. And, yeah, Lamar got us into field goal range and did what he needed to do and left it up to Justin Tucker to win the game. So, yeah, Lamar played a good game. He was sensational in the fourth, but he was inaccurate in the second and third. And the game shouldn't have been as close as it was, but that's what you get when it comes to AFC North football. That's just how it is. It is what it is. But, yeah, that's what I got to say about Lamar. As for the rest of the offense, Devin Duvernay was amazing. I mean, this guy is really proving himself. We spoke about this for a while now, man. We talked about this. We said Devin Duvernay has the ability to play like a Deebo Samuel. I'm not trying to say he's as good or as talented as him or whatever, but he's got those same skill sets. And if the Ravens use him like that, he'd be fantastic. Well, Greg Roman and the Ravens are finally starting to use him like that. They're using him in the run game. They're using him in the pass game, in the punt and kick return game. I mean, the guy was doing everything. Every time Lamar was targeting him in the receiving game, if it was a catchable ball, he made that catch. That's just how it was. When they were trying to get some runs going, they handed the ball off to him, and he just kept making plays. Devin Duvernay is off to an amazing start. He is a very important weapon for this offense, and I got to give the man credit. Just well done to him. He's finally getting the opportunity he deserves, and he's making the best of it, and he is showing out. So that is a reliable weapon for Lamar. He is going to be here moving forward. I like what I'm seeing from Devin Duvernay. Hopefully he keeps this up. But right now, man, he's just doing amazing things. Mark Andrews is still Mark Andrews, one of the best tight ends in the game, if not the best tight end in the game. Making the plays. He caught the only touchdown that Lamar threw in this game in the first quarter. So, not in the first quarter, in the second quarter. So kudos to him. And yeah, he was making so many clutch catches, so many clutch plays. Mark Andrews is one of the best tight ends in the game for a reason. I personally would want to sit back and say he's the best. It's between him and Kelsey, in my opinion. But yeah, Mark Andrews was sensational in that game. He did everything we needed him to do, and I'm just glad he's on this team. Prochet caught a pass, so that was good on him. Demarcus Robinson caught a pass. Should have had another one, but Lamar overthrew him, which led to the interception. So I really want to see the Ravens get Demarcus Robinson more involved in this offense, but I don't know, man. It's going to take time. I knew it was not going to be an easy process because it's not easy to get Demarcus Robinson to kind of fit into our scheme, and we don't really create, like, plays. We don't create plays that are beneficial for the receivers, and we don't have specific plays that can target a specific receiver. Like, okay, these are the plays for this individual, these are the plays for that individual. The closest we're seeing that with is Devin Duvernay, and that's because he can be utilized in the run game, so they create plays for him. But I want to see Demarcus Robinson get involved more. Tylan Wallace, I believe he also had a catch, but he should have had a touchdown. Lamar Jackson just missed him on that fourth down play. And I don't know if they're ever going to get that connection going. I would hope so, but I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, our receiving core isn't the best, but yeah, when you get past Duvernay and Bateman, there's not really much to see there in terms of the receiving core. You want to see more from Demarcus Robinson, but we got to get him more involved, and I have no clue how Prochet and Wallace are going to do. You know, they were out there, but there was not much to say in that situation. As for the run game was great, man. Yeah, it's a nice run by Kenyon Drake, but really, the man you got to talk about, besides Lamar in the run game, because you know what Lamar can do with his legs, the one person we got to talk about is J.K. Dobbins, man. He's really starting to look like the J.K. Dobbins we saw last year. And this is only, his second or third game? J.K. is really starting to ramp it up. He had some great runs. I mean, just some monster runs. There was one run, I'm looking at it, and I thought he was tackled. Bro, this dude broke out of a tackle. It should have been like a 2-yard loss. He broke out of a tackle, kept going, and picked up the first down. It was an amazing highlight play. J.K. Dobbins is just eating, and this is what we've missed from the run game last year. I'm just so glad he's back, and he's going to get more and more involved in the offense. He's going to get more and more carries, and I just can't wait to see how J.K. Dobbins continues to improve. And, you know, if Gus Edwards comes back at some point this season, you know the running game is going to get back to what it was before those two got injured. So I like what I saw from J.K. Dobbins. So, yeah. I also say Kenyon Drake also contributed to that as well. He had some nice runs as well. So the running game was going. The running game was working really well in this game. The receivers, when they had opportunities, they were making plays. Lamar was good in the first quarter, good with that touchdown pass to Andrews after the pick. Pretty much that happened in the second quarter when he threw that pick. From that point on, all the way through the third quarter, he was inaccurate and missing a lot of passes. Once you got into the fourth quarter, Lamar was sensational and looking like the MVP that we need, that we know he can be. I mean, well, not even the MVP that we know he can be, the MVP that he is, and the MVP that he's been for years now. The guy just comes in clutch, just does what he needs to do. He's been clutch the last couple of years. He comes out here and he's clutch once again. So, yeah, offensively, they made some plays, but there was a lot of misses. I don't even think you could sit back and say that the play calling was an issue. I was there, and I'm not going to lie. There were some play calls where I'm like, I don't like it, but that's just how it is in every game. There's a couple play calls Greg Roman throws out there that we're all just looking at them and saying, what are you doing? But I think Greg Roman, once again, he called a solid game. But yesterday's game was really just Lamar missing receivers. Even on that fourth down play, that was a good play call, and it had a wide open receiver. Lamar just missed him. So I think Greg Roman did well with the play calling, and it just came down to Lamar making the plays, and he didn't make those plays in the second and third quarter. He did, however, make those plays in the fourth quarter when it did matter, so credit to him. All right. That's what I got to say about the offense. Switching over to the defense, because the defense is what won us this game. They were getting crucified the entire week. The last time they went up against Cincinnati last season, this defense, though they were injured, no one cared. This defense carved us up. Joe Burrow became the first quarterback to throw for over 400 passing yards against the same team twice in a season. So we were that bad. And we were getting completely cooked by all these television shows. From First Take to Good Morning Football, they were cooking that defense, and you could tell the defense was really motivated to prove themselves tonight because this was a team that really embarrassed them the most. Like, out of all the teams last year, this was a team that embarrassed them the most, and they really wanted to get to them. And I'm not going to lie, what they did yesterday was a thing of beauty. That defense shut them down. In the first quarter, man, they were getting Joe Burrow out of there. Jamar Chase, for much of the game, was getting locked up. I think he had, he had 2 or 3 catches for like 19 or 20 yards against Humphrey, and he had 1 catch that went nowhere on a screen against Marcus Peters. After that, Marcus Peters shut him down. Marcus Peters completely shut down Jamar Chase, and they started moving him so Peters can get away from him. And they would put him on Humphrey, and then Humphrey would shut him down. So he was not having a good time. They kept moving him because it was like, well, if he's on Humphrey, it's not working out. If he's on Peters, it's certainly not working out. So when it was on anyone other than those guys, you started seeing him get something going. But Jamar Chase was locked up. The defense got to Joe Burrow early on. They had a couple sacks in this game. An interception happened, which was amazing to see. I didn't expect it. Oh my God, Patrick Queen finally got his interception. The last couple games, he dropped some picks. It was disgusting. We were all heated about it. He's been hearing the noise. The players have certainly been giving him flack, and he knew he had to catch that. Joe Burrow threw it right to him. Well, he was going for Jamar Chase, but Queen made a great read on the play, jumped the pass, and just took it and made the play, and I was amazed. I didn't even know who that was at first. I was thinking that was not even Elgin. I was thinking it was Malik Harris at the time. That's what I was thinking. I was like, did Harrison get a pick or something? I thought that's what I was seeing. Was it Harrison that got a pick? It was crazy. When I come to find out it was Patrick Queen, and I was just in awe for him actually making that play. So, because at the time I'm looking back there, I see the play, I'm like, oh, it's a pick! It's a pick! Is that Harrison? Oh my God, did Harrison just get a pick? And then all of a sudden I see Patrick Queen running down to the end zone. I'm like, oh, it's Patrick Queen! He got a pick! Congrats! So yeah, I really like what I saw from Patrick Queen in making that play right there. That was a great read by him. Other than that, defense was playing well. Bengals offense really wasn't able to get much going for much of the, at least for the first quarter, they got nothing going. Second quarter, they were able to get something going. They took advantage of Lamar Jackson's interception. So they took that and turned it into 7 points, which, helped out. And then they got the ball just before halftime, went down the field, and they ended up kicking a field goal. So, that's good on them. Joe Burrow, like I said, also did not have an impressive game. Baltimore chose to play a lot of zone. They just forced Joe Burrow to just have to check the ball down, which is what he was doing all game. So they were gaining a lot of yards because Baltimore was just choosing to play zone. However, they did not give up the big play, and that's what I love. Nothing was open over the top. Nothing was open over the top, and that's what you want to see. So kudos to them. The secondary was doing well. The safeties were holding up. They were playing well, which is great to hear, but, I do have to drop this because obviously as I'm making this, I already know the news about Marcus Williams. He suffered a wrist injury. I believe it was a dislocated wrist. He's going to be out for the next several weeks. He's going to be put on IR. He was playing well early in the game. Then he suffered that injury. He kept playing because they were like, you could play. He felt like he could play on it, and they just let him go out there. But once they realized how significant the injury was, he was pulled out. You did not see him in the second half at all. So it was unfortunate. But yeah, the safeties were playing well. Kyle Hamilton made some nice plays. The defense as a whole, secondary was doing well. Pass rush was getting to Burrow early on, which is what you want to see. We forced a turnover. That was great. Defense just played a solid game overall. I mean, the best I saw from that defense was a goal line stand. I mean, at that point, it's a 13-10 game. They're at the goal line, getting ready to hopefully score a touchdown to take a 17-13 lead. And Baltimore's defense stand tall thanks to one person, Marcus Peters. I already talked about the job he did locking up Jamar Chase. But what he did on that play, it was a trick play. I believe they were trying to pull off the Philly special. And Marcus Peters blew that play up for a huge loss. Like, Marcus Peters in that game, that was probably the best overall game we've ever seen Marcus Peters play. Like, he was locking up everything. You couldn't get past this dude. He was locking up everything. The only thing that was against him was the penalties, which again weren't his fault. And yes, I could bring up the officials in the game. They were awful. They were terrible. But you know what? I'm not going to bring them up because I don't want to deal with them. I'm not going to bring them up. They don't matter to me in this situation. Forget about the refs. The refs are always terrible in every game. We just got to play through it. And hey, we won. It is what it is. But Marcus Peters, man, he played well in this game. He played very well. Every time I saw him, I was looking towards his direction. He didn't let anyone get past him, bro. And the one time someone did get past him, that got called on a penalty. And that was because he tripped. He tripped. The one person that got past him was because he tripped. And they called that a penalty, but it is what it is. But yeah, Marcus Peters, he was locking everything up. Marlon Humphrey, he was locking everything up. The secondary was doing their job. Patrick Queen was making some great plays. They were making some nice stops. I just liked what I saw. A lot of batted passes early on, too, at the line of scrimmage. So credit to JPP, who was making the plays. JPP was making his presence known, and I like to see that. I like to see JPP making those plays. You know, he was nice. He was nice. I cannot give enough praise to how well this defense was in that game. They were just playing well. Of course, the one thing people will talk about is them giving up that potential game-winning drive in the fourth quarter. But that was also filled with penalties that, again, we can't use as an excuse. But other than that, the defense played really well. And, yeah, the Bengals offense, they couldn't get anything going. Jamar couldn't get anything going downfield. Boyd, he couldn't get anything going downfield. The only person that was really being majorly effective against Baltimore was Hayden Hurst. He caught a touchdown in this game, so, you know, he got to have his moment. You know, him coming back to Baltimore and having his moment, so that was good on him. But, you know, it was a good game. It was a good, tough defensive game. Plays were there to be made by both Lamar and Joe Burrow. They missed them. They missed those opportunities. With Lamar missing a touchdown pass there and Joe Burrow not getting the play, not being able to make the play at the goal line and forcing it to be a turnover on downs. It is what it is. Plays were missed. That's just how it is in a rivalry. It's gonna happen. But you get to the fourth quarter, game is still very close. It's anybody's game, and all of a sudden we get down to the goal line and it's time to see what's gonna happen here. Is John Harbaugh gonna make that decision to go for it? Because it's third down. Lamar throws to the rookie Isaiah Likely, and he almost picks up the first down, but he's short. So now here it is, fourth down. We're at the goal line. We're up by 3. Clock is winding. The fourth quarter is getting ready to come to an end. It's not completely getting ready, but I believe it was under 6 minutes at that point. So this was getting crucial. If Baltimore chose to go for it and didn't get it, that could very well cost them the game. It looked like they were going to go for it, but apparently they didn't like what they saw, so they called a timeout and chose. They didn't call a timeout. They actually they settled for a delay of game because they knew Tucker was going to make the field goal no matter what. And I was seeing that, I'm thinking to myself, why would you take the delay of game? But, you know, at first I was just thinking that initially, why are you taking the delay of game? If you want to go for this, get set. But they took it on purpose because it's they didn't like what they saw, which it is what it is. So, yeah, it's a 16-10 game. The Bengals get the ball back. We're under 6 minutes at this point. This is the final drive for the Bengals potential final drive for the Bengals to at least take the lead and get it done. If they don't score here, they don't score a touchdown, the game is most likely over for them. And, yeah, they go down the field. Joe Burrow was magnificent in that drive. That was probably the best drive he had the entire game. That was the best drive their offense had the entire game because they just kept making plays. And, yes, penalties were happening, but it is what it is. They made the plays. Especially on third down. They made the plays. And it ended up being a situation where they're at the goal line. It's second and goal or third and goal at the 1, and Joe Burrow just takes it himself. So he picks up the rushing touchdown. I'm watching him go in, and I'm just like, damn, he got it. And I'm watching this dude. I'm looking down, watching this dude just celebrate, and I'm like, dang. We're really just sitting there letting Joe Burrow go off like this, just celebrate. This could be disastrous. But then I look up at the clock. I see we have 1:58 left, and I'm like, 1:58, pretty much all 3 of our timeouts. It's Lamar time. You know, Lamar in the fourth quarter has been nice, but now it's time for the MVP to be the MVP. Get us into field goal range. And that final drive was fantastic by Lamar. Brilliantly done, utilizing both his arms and his legs, showcasing why he is an MVP, showcasing why he is an elite player in this game, why he's an elite quarterback, why he's one of the best quarterbacks in the game. Because even when you're not playing at your best, when you need to come up clutch, he came up clutch, and he did what he needed to do to get us to the field goal range. The minute he passed the 40, we all knew the game was over. The only worry we had was the only worry we had was if Cincinnati would be able to would be able to block it. But yeah, would be able to cross the line of scrimmage and actually make a block in time. Sorry, I am not 100%. It was cold as hell in Baltimore, and my nose is like still stuffed from that. So like I'm trying to talk as best as I can, but man, I just don't want to like sneeze or anything like that. So it was cold in Baltimore. I was shivering, so I was going to be actually really pissed if we would have lost that game because it really got cold. It got cold in the fourth, man. It was freezing out there. So, yeah, I'm still dealing with the after effects, but I'll be okay in a couple days. Anyway, we put the ball in the hands of Lamar, and once he crossed the 40, we all knew it was in Justin Tucker's range. The only worry we had was whether or not the Bengals would be able to cross that line of scrimmage, get a hand up, and be able to block that field goal. If that was to happen, we would have lost the game. But once Tucker came out on the field, everyone knew he was going to make that kick. And man, when that kick, bro, that kick was perfect. Right down the middle. It was the most perfect kick you could possibly make. And he did that to win the game. That's why Justin Tucker is the greatest kicker of all time. That's why he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. That's why he's the GOAT of kickers. That's why he is that guy. So Baltimore manages to win the game 19-17. That was a very tough game. Easily my favorite game of the season. My favorite win of the season because that was one the team earned as a whole. Man, I didn't think this video was going to be that long. But yeah, Baltimore gets the win. There was some good plays. There was some bad plays from both teams. But at the end of the day, Baltimore made the plays to win the game. Put it in the legs. Well, not the legs, but the leg of Justin Tucker. And the guy is just special. Right down the middle, we win the game. So yeah, Baltimore wins that game. We advance to 3-2. We win our first divisional game since week 12, I believe it was week 12, week 13, when we took on the Cleveland Browns on Sunday Night Football. I think that's the last time we won a divisional game. That was also the last time we won a home game. So, wow, it's been a long time. That was our first home win, so yeah, man, we were on a 5-game home losing streak, so it felt fantastic to win that one. That was definitely a special one. I'm not going to forget that one for a while now, so great job all around by the Ravens. You know, you didn't play perfect, but you found a way to win when you needed to against a tough competitor, a tough divisional rival. And now you're first place in the AFC North with a 3-2 record. Next week we got the Giants, and I can't wait to discuss that because we got to deal with Wink Martindale in that defense, so we'll see how that goes. Anyway, here's my recap. Not in the perfect condition. Still trying to recover from, you know, the cold temperatures of Baltimore. You know, I'll be dealing with that. Don't even know if I can make a live stream tonight for Monday Night Football. But I want to at least try to be here, so I'm probably not going to talk that much. Anyway, appreciate you guys stopping by. That's all I got. And Ravens Flock, I'm out. Peace.